Mr. Sanjay Lazar, aviation expert, is with us on the program to talk more about this. Sanjay, appreciate you joining us. 22 crore rupees is peanuts for Indigo. That is something they perhaps can make in a quarter of a day by operating flights. Now, this is not also a rap on the knuckles. This is not even a scolding. This is just a memo telling them, okay, you did a bad job. Why don't you just be careful next time? And it has resulted, I was caught up in this mess. I was stuck in Bangalore myself. So I have seen the reality on the ground on how people were missing exams, missing funerals, missing marriages, missing court dates, all of that for 22 crore rupees. I really think there is still something wrong with the way Indigo has been dealt with.
Good evening, Vineet, and thank you for having me on your show, and good evening to your viewers as well. Well, yes, that's the report that's been accepted by the Ministry of Civil Aviation, and they've gone ahead with it. Let's not forget, we had unprecedented meltdown. I can only call it a meltdown for want of a better word. During the December, I was one of the harshest critics. I remember screaming on every channel, including yours. I also had my family caught up in this problem. Their flight diverted somewhere, they didn't land, they landed at another place. So I've seen it up close and personal. I'm in groups, WhatsApp groups, on Twitter, everywhere. We've seen this and we've seen the meltdown. Now, is 22 crores peanuts, like everybody says? Of course it is. When you compare it, you look back to 2021, 22 Southwest Airlines, and you see the 140 odd million that the FAA fined Southwest. And they had to pay for that meltdown that occurred over there. In comparison, what is 22 million? It's a drop in the ocean. When you compare what Indigo is, one of the world's top 10 most profitable companies, largest companies, etc. But there is another aspect here, is that do our rules permit the Indian government or the parliament or the ministry to even levy this fine? No, they've actually gone over and above and beyond the limits and fined them, like you rightly pointed out, the entire elaborate list of penalties, under various sections of the car, non-compliance with instructions of operational personnel, exercise of operational management, control, responsibility, FDTL failures, and they fined them per day basis for the 68 days of violations, leading up to it. My point here is, of course, I've also seen lots of parliamentarians criticize this fine, this 22 crore fine plus the 50 crores, and say, that's peanuts, they'll earn it in an hour. Of course it will. But my question is, what were all of you all doing in Parliament when this passed 2 years ago? Some journalists also have correctly pointed out. The second aspect, and this is the more troubling aspect for me. Let's understand. Indigo controls 60-65% of the market share. What do you want to do to them? Do a Damania? I remember the year that Damania got caught with a passenger drunk, they cancelled their license, they grounded them, they stopped them from flying. Is that what you want to do? You will end up having fares go up by 150%. What you should have done is, where is the oversight of the DGCA? You found so many people responsible within Indigo. Who was responsible for oversight? Who was responsible for monitoring? Who was responsible for approvals? Everybody in the DGCA is clear here. Now I come to the Indigo senior officers. You've given caution to the CEO, you've given warnings to 3 or 4 other people, but you've not cracked down in the manner that you should have. You've not asked them to conduct open inquiries, or you should have conducted, which you have the right to do so. Also, if I were representing Indigo or even advising them, I'd say, on your own, you've done the 10,000 rupee goodwill gesture. Keep aside 5-10 crores and say, this is a fund, let's set it up. Ask other airlines to put it in. That's how you start winning the trust back. We have to go on with our life. I definitely see that the ministry could do a lot more here. I do believe there has to be a inspection, crackdown and surveillance deep into the DGCA, because there's not been enough of soul searching there. Caesar's wife has to be above reproach. And if you are levying fines on companies and airlines for everything, somebody rostering Air India, somebody gets sacked, somebody in...
Sanjay, is this a classic case of crony capitalism?
Absolutely. tell me, how could you have 3-4 people who were involved in all these approvals sitting on the committee, then creating this report? Obviously, Indigo won't make a noise. I mean, I'm not speaking for either Indigo or the DGCA. I'm speaking as an independent observer. Indigo is not going to make a noise. They will take what they've got, and you know, it's like you said, peanuts, a matter of minutes for them to earn this back. But that's not the point. It's the rap on the knuckles that will hurt them long after the money is over. But tell me, nobody's questioning the policeman at the signal. He's allowed the cars to break the red light and run through for the last 6, 8, 9 months. Maybe 1 airline, 2 airlines, 3 airlines. Is this how we are going to become the 3rd largest aviation market in the world? This is what I'd like the minister, the director general, and the others. You know, there are officers who have dropped the ball. You know, there are officers who made major mistakes. But yet, because Indigo is the whipping boy, they came in the front, you whipped the hell out of them. Okay, I understand. You want to make that 22 crores, 200 crores, by all means, change the rules, change the law, do a Southwest on them. Bring
Absolutely.
a $200 million form. But fine, but you do not have the stipulated laws. In fact, this IRAS 50 crore bank guarantee is something new. And I think that's a positive step by the DGCA and the ministry. Maybe it will also now ensure that they have stronger supervision over this airline, similarly with other airlines as well. But who is going to supervise the regulator? They're obviously doing stuff and getting away with murder. And I strongly hold that, you know, unless you clear the regulator of its systemic faults, you're always going to come up with this. You can't hold, you know, the COO of or the senior VP of you know, operations responsible for something you were watching over.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Sanjay. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I agree with you, Sanjay. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. You've made some solid points, and I hope the powers are paying heed. Thank you so much for joining us. We take a short break. Be right back.